Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am Talon, the Techmerc. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. So, as you could probably tell, we're doing something slightly different today. That would be because we are taking a look into the best PC part builder that you can use, seeing which ones are better in which ways, and most importantly, finding the ultimate king. So right now we have 3 sites that we'll be looking at and I will be delving deeper into today. So these are PcPartPicker, which is the one you see right here. Next we're going to be taking a look at PC Hound. And then finally we will be ending it off with ChooseMyPC.net. Now I will give you guys pros and cons of each of these, and the 3 main topics or points that I'm looking for in these sites is 1, the community, seeing how welcoming and how good they are for first time builders and things like that, the part selection that they have available on their site, and finally we have their price accuracy. So without further ado, let's get started. So kicking things off here, we have the community between these sites. So this first site we're going to be looking at is PcPartPicker. It's very acclaimed with a lot of people. A lot of the big tech YouTubers do it for pricing out and parting out builds and whatnot. It's probably the most reliable on this list, the most popular. So we'll be delving into PcPartPicker's community. I won't go super in depth about it. I'll leave that up to you guys. But what I'm mostly looking for here is whether or not there is a community and whether or not there are things like build guides or suggestions or people's builds that they've done that they're showing off here. So right up here at the top we have view the build guides. So when you click on that, we go to a ton of different build guides that people can throw up here. So this is something I really enjoy. As you can see, we have a variety of prices here going from under $550 up to $1,500. So it definitely covers a large array of guides and different kind of PC builds here. So I'm really impressed to see that. I'm really liking this so far. So that's what we've got here. You can also see people's completed builds as well as looking into individual parts. So as far as the community goes in the activity here of people on the blogs and whatnot, I'm really liking it so far. PcPartPicker gets a really good grade on this one. So next we'll be moving on to PC Hound. So this is their home screen. So gonna hit start building, and here it doesn't look like we have too much of a community at all. What I'm seeing here right now and what I know of my personal research into this is that you can create your own builds, and if you log in or you sign up for an account, you have access to all of your previous builds. And so there doesn't seem to be any community at all. It does seem like it's okay for just choosing out basic parts and whatnot, but overall I'm not too impressed with the community here, as there is none. So this doesn't get a great grade for that. Hopefully it can redeem itself in another quality. And last we've got ChooseMyPC.net. Again, this is their homepage here. So it looks like they have a build generator, which sounds really cool and will be something I will be going into here later. Guides and resources. So this tells us that there is a community. So they have a part selection guide, an assembly guide, and a water cooling guide, which is very interesting to see. So under here, assembly guide is the main one I'm looking for. I'm looking into this for a lot of new builders. So let's go through here a little bit. I've gone through this before, and it's really in-depth guide of how to put together a system. This is an Intel based one, but Intel and AMD, that very similar in how you actually put them together. Slightly different, but very similar. So as far as guides go here, they get a good grade on guides. However, I'm not seeing a lot of like people's personal builds, a lot of blogs, a lot of people showing off what they've done. So it's better than PC Hound, but not as good as PcPartPicker in this category. But I'm very interested to see what else these guys have to offer us, and we'll be going on to part 2 next, which is their part selection. Alright, so now we're moving on to part 2, which will be the general build experience as well as their part selection. So again, we're going to start off here with PcPartPicker. So right off the bat, it lists all of the components on the side, even including some extra things like peripherals, monitors, and the operating system. So far they're doing good. Now under CPU, let's see what they have for us. So it looks like they have a very large selection of CPUs. Also being able to narrow it down by a lot of these selections on the side. That's really nice to see. So let's just part together part of a system right now and just see how it goes. So let's say 1600 tells me there's 6 cores for it right there, 65 watt TDP for $193. Alright, so we've got that in there. One thing I really do like about PcPartPicker is that it checks for compatibilities, but not only does it do that, it eliminates every incompatible part based off of your processor. So for example, I won't be able to select a Intel motherboard here for this AMD CPU, which, as you can see right here, all of these are listed as AM4, which is the socket of that Ryzen chip. So big props for that. I think the only way you can switch out the motherboard is by doing it manually. So right here, we're just gonna kind of part together more of a budget system here. Let's choose some memory. Again, it will check for compatible memory, so you don't get the wrong memory and whatnot. So let's go here with just Ripjaws 5, $185 for 16 gigs of RAM. It's kind of crazy. RAM is kind of skyrocketing right now. Let's turn to storage. Alright, so it looks like we have both mechanical and SSD options here with their prices on the right. So far, PcPartPicker's they're kind of killing it with their part selection and their build process. I would like to see them have maybe pictures on the side here, because a lot of people, especially first-time builders, won't know exactly what they're looking for unless they've done some research beforehand. And I would have liked to see maybe something a little bit more recognizable than just a bunch of text. While it does come in handy for the uneducated, it might seem a little bit daunting. So right here, we're just going to go with a 1050 Ti. And so far, it's only taken me a couple of minutes, and I've parted out the majority of a system here. All that's left is case, power supply, and OS. So yeah, props to PcPartPicker. I would like it to, in the part selection, to have pictures or something besides just text here, as that is a little bit daunting for people. While you can click on them and it takes you to a new tab and it shows you a picture of it and pricing for them, I still would like maybe something right here on this screen to help with that process. So that's all we've got for PcPartPicker, and next we're going to be looking at PCHound. And now we have PCHound. Now, as we saw in the last section of this video, they don't have a community at all, so I'm really hoping they slay it in the component selection and build experience part. So right here, let's add a CPU. They do have a picture on the side, which is something I would like PcPartPicker to implement, as well as prices. I'm not sure exactly what is going on here. It actually tells us that it is out of stock on Newegg. So it looks like you can choose between Newegg and Amazon as a seller. I believe they also have B&H, Micro Center, and NCIX as listed sellers here. So it gives you several prices. You can choose between them, but again, we're going to build a similar system to the last one here. So we again have a Ryzen 5 1600. So it tells us that our CPU may be missing compatibility information. So proceed with caution and whatnot. So it's interesting here. I don't believe that these are all. Nope, they are. So these are all AMD motherboards. That is nice to see here. So again, let's go with kind of a cheaper option right here, $75. It's about what we had last time. So the compatibility part so far isn't looking very strong here. It might just be because this hardware isn't supported, but since Ryzen's been out for a long time, it's kind of unfortunate that it isn't supported yet. So let's just continue here, see kind of what's going on. So let's again go with some cheaper RAM here. Try Z series, 16 gigabytes for $180. All right, let's go with that. So it does look like the AMD, especially the Ryzen hardware, isn't fully supported yet, and also their part selection is a little bit more limited than PcPartPicker's. Like PcPartPicker, you could choose a monitor, extra software, and things like that. So this is definitely catered towards a beginner builder or a first-time builder. So it looks like they have a decent selection. However, I again would be cautious with your selection and checking in different sources, but that kind of defeats the purpose of using that. So PCHound so far isn't looking great, but we'll see if it can redeem itself in the last category. So we have finally arrived at ChooseMyPC.net. So right here, what is cool about this is that you can generate a build by answering just a few questions. We'll see how well this works. Which country are you from? I'm from the US. Budget, let's go for a $750 budget. See what that gives us here. Would you like to overclock your CPU? Now, if I were a first-time builder, which I kind of am, I probably wouldn't want to get too much into overclocking, but I might in the future, so I will put maybe in the future. And then additional options, yeah, I'll go for Windows. I mean, I'm not gonna build a Mac out of Windows components, and I'm not too interested in Linux right now. So right here, just kind of parted it out for us here. We've got a 6500, which is several generations old. However, it's still good for what most people need. Intel's progression has been quite slow lately. Comes with a stock cooler. Gave us a motherboard for it. It's a cheap motherboard. RAM here as well. That does seem awfully low for 8 GB of DDR4 memory, so that will be something we'll be looking into next. And overall, this looks pretty good, but what I am noticing here is that you can't put in all of your own parts. Sure, you can edit here the SSD and the hard drive, and you can remove the case and the power supply like this. You can hit add, and it just adds the same case back. So in the part of putting it together yourself or editing it for yourself, it's really lacking in that department. So I'm not sure what their part selection is like. Let's try bumping up our budget to $1,500. Go something kind of a little bit more crazy. Again, it gave us a Skylake processor, an i5 Skylake processor, which again is several generations old, and it kind of just gave a little bit of a bump. It gave us two 1070s here, but overall I'm not too impressed by this. I wish I had the option to edit my own parts and find my own parts, and you know, I don't know, I find it pretty lacking in the part department. See what I did there? But yeah, in this category it's not doing great. Even PC Hound beat this out because of just a wider selection and being able to do it yourself. But let's see if this can redeem itself in the final category of price accuracy, which we'll be taking a look at next. Alright, so we've arrived at the final portion of this video, being price accuracy. So none of this means anything if all of these prices are jacked up, because yeah, you can check for compatibility, but you have no idea what it will cost you. So again, we're going to start here with PcPartPicker. We're going to be looking at the Ryzen 5 1600 processor. So if we click on here, it takes us to PcPartPicker's page for this particular product. So it gives you their merchants. So here we've got Outlet PC, SuperBiz, Amazon, B&H, Newegg, PCM, and the other Newegg down there. So I'm not sure how much I trust Outlet PC or SuperBiz. Kind of seem a little bit sketchy to me. I haven't used them, so I'm gonna go to the Amazon link that they have here, and sure enough, they do have the correct price here. However, one thing I would like to note is that none of these include sales or bundled items. So that is something definitely to check out, because if you do things like that, bundled items, and there are sales going on, yeah, you can get a general idea of what it will cost via the sites, but it does pay to do a little bit more research on the product themselves and whether or not they are accurate in pricing when sales are going on. So that is something I would definitely recommend, is just keep your eye out for sales, and also be checking more than the places that are available on those websites. So other than that, they do seem accurate here. So that was the Ryzen 1600 on Amazon.com. Let's go into the RAM here, because RAM is kind of weird right now. So again, we're going to be using Amazon for our reference point here. So clicking on the Amazon link, and sure enough, it does have that price. So far, PcPartPicker's at the top of this list. Really quite impressed with it so far. It is what I've been using, but it's still beating out the competition right now. So let's see how the other two handle it. So now we have arrived at the price check for PC Hound. So PC Hound hasn't impressed me at all so far. Really, it's been subpar, but let's see if they are having accurate prices listed here. So we will be looking at the processor, the same processor, mind you, that we looked at under the PcPartPicker price check. So here, what is really cool is that it shows you immediately the price history over the different retailers that they have over about the last 2 months or so. So that is nice to see. PcPartPicker also does have price history, so it's not the first in its field to do this, but either way, it is still really nice to see. to see if you are actually getting a good buy based on price risings and fallings. So again, we're going to check Amazon, see how they treat us here. So yeah, $200 and $200. Again, this does not account for anything like sales or bundled discounts, so that is something to keep in mind. And let us also check this motherboard right here, again on Amazon. We'll see if it's accurate. And there we have it, $74.99, and here it is listed as $74.99. So yeah, it's super accurate, but considering how accurate PcPartPicker was, I'm not sure that this is even in the running for the king anymore. But we still do have ChooseMyPC.net coming next. And we have arrived at the last contestant and contender for the price check. So ChooseMyPC.net has been overall okay so far, but the price check is really where we're going to see if it's accurate and worth our time. So let's check out this processor, which by the way you can't customize or change to your own liking. Otherwise I would have checked it against the other two processors that I've had. So here it takes us to Outlet PC. Right off the bat, this website looks pretty sketchy. Not gonna trust it. Again, this is just me. You guys might have a different experience with it, but I personally not a fan of Outlet PC. So let's see what the same processor is on Amazon. It is the i5 6600K. Let's see what it gives us here. Alright, $230 right here for the 6600K. Let's see if that's what it says here. It says $240. So a little bit off. Again, that could be because they are, yeah, their listed price here isn't even the same as the source that they give you. Although it is only off by a little bit, that's still off. That's not really great to see. That's not something we want to see. So again, ChooseMyPC.net it's out of the running. I think we have our king here, and that is what I will be talking to you guys about next. The pros and cons of each site and which one I will be recommending to you guys, so stay tuned for that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally arrived at the end of this video with the conclusion. So it should come as no surprise, we have PcPartPicker as the superior part picking website. The other two did nothing amazing to impress me. They didn't have anything special that PcPartPicker didn't have. Especially because PcPartPicker had such a better community and a lot wider of a part variety that it was a no-brainer choice for me. The other two were kind of dumbed down versions of it. PC Hound didn't even have compatibility for Ryzen, which was really unfortunate. And the last one that we talked about, ChooseMyPC.net, that one literally just kind of took a lot of the fun away from it for me. But what is good about that one is that it allows people to kind of go in and get a general idea for what they can get for their price point and their budget, and kind of seeing a little bit like that. But I think a lot more research definitely needs to be done on whether or not you will choose the system that it creates for you. And PC Hound I can't recommend over any of the other two sites for any reason. It just wasn't great at all. It was overly simple. It was limited. It wasn't great. It was not pretty. But overall, yeah, PcPartPicker is still the one I'm going to be using, and it's the one I recommend to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this comparison. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, more in-depth comparisons of websites or even other softwares like that, let me know. I will be sure to see what I can do about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, make sure you leave a like down below. And if you loved it, maybe consider subscribing and checking out some of my other content. You'll get some after this video if you keep watching, but I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and constructive criticism is always open. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.